You felt it, man. I mean, like the ecosystem like surrounding the Sixers ever since Hinkie has just been like just off. Even when they're playing really well and they're doing well, it's just there's just something that's kind of like sitting there that doesn't. I don't know how to put a finger on it, but it doesn't feel right. You know what I mean?
If we have damaged goods. As Sixers fans, we have like this fan base has damaged goods. Considering if let's say you invested everything into Hinkie, and I liked Hinkie, and I like the idea of breaking it down to build it up. I wasn't all for give him 10 years to see how he can do this, But I believe there should be some, maybe 3 years of breaking it down to build it up and all that. But then it was the whole, not just the process, but then the NBA's process with the Colangelos taking over, and then Brett Brown having final say for like 30 minutes, and it cost us McCall Bridges. And then obviously you have Brand come in, and he had final say, and then you have Morey come in. So it's like all this stuff that we invested so much time into just got jumbled up, shaken up, and tossed out to what we have now.
Well, and you also have this kind of thing too, where it was like, the nature of the process was so controversial anyway.
Yeah, right.
That, for the people who are anti-process, like for them, the only way that you can justify it is with a title.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine going into that every year and like, thinking that's like, because you got this huge, humongous thing hanging over your head. And nobody on the team, except for Embiid, was here when it started. Nobody in the building is responsible for anything that had to do with it,
Mm-hmm.
But that like kind of like malaise. That's what I'm saying. It's like that invisible kind of like, it's like I'm like breathing in some invisible gas that I don't know is out there. But just like this thing is there that says like, hey, like the process. Like there's like people who say you got to still justify this thing that may have ended 7 years ago. I don't know. Right. People always. I wrote a column about, I think it's funny how after they lose in the second round every year, everybody has this big relitigation of the process, and they pick this like arbitrary endpoint for when they think it's stopped or when they think it started. It's like that's a feckless exercise because it doesn't mean much now. It's like if you were anti-process, of course you're going to say it's still going on today, so you can continue to crap on it. But if you're a Hinkie disciple, you say, well, it ended when he left. Ultimately it's not. So many people. That was such a complicated and tangled mess of mistakes and errors and missteps.